I was literally just stuck in this one spot, and I was fucking just standing there, and I was looking around like, fucking chopper cannot come in here. And then I cannot climb back up. I cannot fucking climb down there. I can't get down there. I'm like, it's fucking going down one of these waterfalls. And this was the spot where I was just fucking, I was there, and I was doing the full argument, you know, with like 2 different people in me, and it's just like, one's like, nah, fucking too big a risk, not gonna do it. And the other one's like, fuck, I reckon we can do it.
Can you see where the waterfall goes?
Nah, not really, but you can hear that it doesn't go too far, you know what I mean? One does. That side there's like fucking, yeah. And this other side's not as bad, and it sort of runs down in a slope on the rocks first. And I can't see where it goes, but I can see the end of that lagoon, you know?
Okay, so you can see that it's not just
no, that's right.
off.
Yeah. And yeah, it was fucking weird. It was a real weird jump. It was a real fucking weird thing to do.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. But what else do? You just said you can't. There's no. You can't go back. You can't go forward. You can't get a chopper in. You have to do something.
And I just fucking jumped, and I leant against the side of the rocks when I went. So I didn't jump directly into the water. I sort of jumped into the edge, like the water's gushing down there, and there's a rock slope like that. I jumped in there, and I put my shoulder and my backpack in there, and I sort of slid, and then I hit that gush of water, you know. And it was like, what I thought was a ribbon of water running down there like that was a fucking ribbon of water running down there like that. Like it nearly swallowed me whole on the way down, you know. Anyway, I fucking hit the thing, and there was like, it plunged me down a long way, and there was fucking no bottom. I never touched the bottom. And I just remember fucking straight away, like just trying to get up like as fast, because the water's so cold that it makes you want to fucking open your mouth, you know, like it shocks you. So it's like just instantly like trying to get to the top. Like you've only been under for 2 seconds, but it feels like you've been under for 2-3 minutes already in that cold water, you know. And I got to the top, and I end up fucking paddling. It was rushing me down flat out, like fast, like taking me fucking down. And I couldn't get onto any fucking rocks. Everything was too slopey or too slippery. And I remember starting to align myself, and I'm like, fucking take the backpack off, because it was fucking getting heavy. I could feel myself just getting lower and lower in the water. And I was just about to unstrap the backpack, and then something hit me body. I think it hit me under here. I had a real bad rib for a while. Hit me under here, and I sort of looked up forward, and there was a massive tree like that round that was going over the next fucking waterfall, and it was all the roots out of the bottom of it sticking up. Ended up hooking this arm around one of the roots and like holding onto the pack, because I nearly had the pack off. And then sort of just holding onto that for a second and then scrambling to the side. And I remember seeing me water bottle fucking go. Like my water bottle had punched out of my pack. I didn't give a fuck about water, but it was just the thought that, fuck, that was nearly me, you know. That was a part of me going, you know. And then I got there, and I climbed up on the rock, and I didn't think to do it. I didn't mean to do it. It just fucking come out of me like fucking like some adrenaline junkie, like fucking yes. Like I was doing the fist pumps in the air and like yelling, and it was just like a massive surge of adrenaline. And then I started thinking about it, and it was like, the yes bit was like, fuck, you talked yourself into doing it. Because everything in my body was like, don't do it, don't do the jump. And you're like, fucking, I've got to. This is our best chance, you know, and then doing it and making it. And then the pack was that heavy at that point. And I remember I was hot. I was like, even though I'd come out of that freezing cold water, I was fucking hot, like cooking. And I took my pants off because they were just soaking wet. And I just had like long johns on. And then I just had a t-shirt on after that. And I stayed warm for ages. And I kept hiking. I went through some more shit spots. And then I just remember coming around the next corner, because I kept thinking, is this fucking ever going to end? Like, it's going to be dark soon. I do not want to be here in the dark. It's fucking raining. The creek's flowing harder. It's getting noisier. Like, it was fucking like deafening, you know, constant. And then I come around the corner, and the country it was fucking turned that much worse. It was just, the sides, there was trees in the creek, right? Dead trees in the creek, but then there wouldn't be a tree for 300 or 400 meters. And because the banks had washed away. And so those trees had come from the very top. That was the sides of the mountain just falling in on itself constantly and getting washed downstream. And I come around, and it was just this, like a marble rock wall, like this old massive big stone wall, fucking like a mountain, and then there was a fucking ribbon carved in it like this, where the water had been running through there for fucking millions of years, and it just carved out a gap in the mountain. That's the only place the river could go. And then it was fucking just shooting out the other side, and I couldn't see where it went, but I could fucking hear it just raging down. And I ended up getting, the only way to get across there was I had to climb across some trees that had fallen down in the debris. And I climbed up and I got to like where that ribbon of rock had come through. That's like, so there's mountains on both sides of me the whole time. The whole time I've been walking down mountains. That's how a fucking river is. It's in the middle. And then these fucking mountains come together like that. But the fucking had carved its way through there, you know.
Did you record any of this? I know.
No, everything was dead now.
Right.
Except for my GPS that you have to go through the alphabet to send a fucking message from. And anyway, I ended up climbing up the top, and I remember getting up the top and the volume, just how much fucking louder it got. I looked down, it's just a sheer cliff and a fucking straight tube of a waterfall for fucking 300-400 meters down.
Oh, fuck.
And all the shit that I went through, right? Climbing down, dropping into that fucking glacier water, jumping through that fucking waterfall and down. Every bit, there was some part that was like, oh, we could do it like this. And then I got to there and it was like, nah.
Yeah.
There's fucking no way you can get past this. There's no way you can get past this. This is fucking it. You're done. You're staying here. And then I sent out a message to a mate, and I felt banged up at that point too, because I think I got to the realization that I'm not getting out today. And the adrenaline worn off from the rest of it, because every point I got to was like, oh, it's not too bad now, at least I can go through there, you know. And then I finally got to that point, and then it was like my body was like, yeah, right, let's fucking let him have it. And then it was like, fuck, I'm fucking sore, and my shoulders were fucked, and my leg felt fucked, and it's just all caught up with me in one trip, one spot. And then it was like, fuck, it's nearly dark, like it's nearly fucking dark, I'm soaking wet. There's fucking not a flat bit of ground here. I'm no way I'm sleeping on a rock in this creek. This creek's probably raged to the height of this before, you know. There's no way I can sleep in the creek anywhere. You need to find somewhere. And I was sort of just scavenging around these trees, and fucking the trees that had fallen down. I was trying to get away from that point. I didn't want to fucking hear how raging that water was, you know, and I kept looking, and the only thing I could find was where a tree had come down the mountain and hadn't gone all the way down the mountain, and the debris that had come off the mountain had come up to it and made a bit of a slope, but it was a horrible drop off the side, but it was the only flat spot. And I fucking set the tent up, and I sent a message out to my mate, SOS in the morning. And because I could only write these short messages. It was so fucking hard my hands were fucking frozen and waterlogged. And I wrote that little message. I'm like, SOS in the morning. And he wrote straight back. He's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yep, but I can't stay here, you know. And I can't get out. Because I looked, there was fucking no way out. There was no way up and over and around it. I couldn't go back the way I'd come, nothing. Anyway, I set up the tent, sleeping bag was drenched to the core. Everything in my pack was fucking saturated. And I do things so things don't get wet by putting them in dry bags, but the dry bags had failed, you know. And the one thing I was sort of looking forward to was, fuck, at least I got a dry sleeping bag tonight. It's in a good dry bag. And it's like, no.
What does that do to your mental state when you've done all these ridiculous things? Like you've jumped into things that you know 50-50 chances of surviving. You've reached a point where there's no moving forward, there's no moving back, there's nothing. You've hit something where, I know when we spoke about this, you know, hitting SOS is something you never want to do. You know, you never want to be in that situation, but it's also like a thing like, okay, I've admitted defeat sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know, what does that do to your psyche? Like, what are you thinking at this moment? Like, are there tears? Because I'd be shattered.
Not at this point, because everything's, you know, it's like going into a fight and then fucking sitting down. You know, it's like you're still fighting, you know, you're fighting for your life, and there's not a chance to have. I think I had thoughts, I've definitely had those thoughts, you know, about Kim and the kids, things like that. But there's not a time for tears yet, you know. It's like fucking just got to keep fighting on. You know, and everything, there was never a break. There was just, every second was a constant fight, you know. And I think I didn't want to hit SOS that night, for starters. I thought to plan it and do it properly, you hit it just before light in the morning, and then, because it's supposed to be nearly immediate. and I definitely didn't want to do it. Like, I did not want to. I didn't. There's a couple of reasons. First, I felt like I was giving up and admitting defeat. And the second thing was, you don't want to put anyone else's life in danger. You know, I know those guys do that for a living. That's what they do. And I've spoken to some of them since then, and they fucking live for it. You know, they're waiting for those calls. That's what they want to do. You know, they're out to help people. But you still don't want to do it. And I was still trying to convince myself, no, there's another way out. And anyway, I set the tent up, blew the fucking mattress up, fucking got in there, went through my gear. All my gear was fucked. Everything was wet. And but the tent was still a shelter. It was still a good shelter. The sleeping bag was a synthetic sleeping bag, so it would still hold some of its heat properties. Once I got in there, if my body temperature would get up, that sleeping bag would try and hold some of it. And anyway, I had to sit big rocks on the side of that log so I wouldn't roll off during the night, because the tent went over that log off the edge a bit. And anyway, when I first laid down, I just remember thinking how fucking loud it was, like, because I could still hear that raging fucking waterfall, and that was the point that stopped me. It was like a fucking haunting sound all night. I remember it, like, as in that's what stopped me. That fucking sound is what stopped me going, because it's such a big fall down there. And anyway, I was laying there, and fucking you hear debris coming off the mountain every now and then, like a rock going flying down. You'd hear it hit the fucking creek, like pummel into the other rocks and the water and stuff like that. And I'm like, fucking, I hope one of them doesn't come and hit me. And because that, you'd just be fucking ended. You'd be there in the middle of nowhere. And then I ended up sleeping for a while, and it was just a massive adrenaline wear off, and it was a massive wear on my body for the whole fucking day. So I think the first hour or two, I just fell asleep flat out. And then I woke up, and I was sore as fuck. I thought my leg was broken in my arm. I couldn't move this leg, and I couldn't move this fucking arm at all. Like, when I woke up, I literally couldn't move them. No pins and needles or nothing. Like, it was like, fuck, no, it's fucking broken. I was telling my hand to come up, and it wouldn't come up.
So not even like pain-wise, you can't move it because it hurts too much. It just doesn't...
Just couldn't move it.
Fuck.
Yeah. And I think I just badly bruised it in the end, or it could have been something else. But anyway, I woke up, and the fucking first thing I woke up and I thought about Kim and the kids. And it was almost like, because I hadn't got a message out to them. So they didn't know if I was in a shit situation. They didn't know that. I'd just been messaging a friend, and he's super switched on. And I knew that he wouldn't bring Kim and the kids unnecessary thoughts or anything like that. So I knew that, without saying it, I knew that he wouldn't have told them. But I thought every afternoon I messaged Kim, but my battery was so low on that GPS, I didn't want to waste any battery. So I literally wrote to my friend Antonio, SOS in the morning. He's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yes, but I won't be for long. And then I turned it off so I could save the batteries to hit SOS in the morning. And anyway, when I woke up at 11 or 12 o'clock at night, and I thought about Kim and the kids, and then it got to me. And I started crying. Like, I'm like, nah, you're in a really bad situation. And I thought, if this leg's broken and this arm's not moving, I'm in a really bad situation, because I had plans to do things at first light, fucking, you know, to get ready for the helicopter. And at that point, it would be emergency helicopter. It wouldn't be the commercial guy. And for one, I needed to find somewhere that they could come in and see me, and I wasn't in that, because I was sort of in like two fucking ravines. There was this ravine here that I'd been walking down, this creek, the whole time, and then I'd crossed up the top, and there was a tiny little ravine that come in there, and that's the tree that I was on the side of. And so I knew a helicopter wouldn't find me with ease in there. It's like fucking all big overpowering cliffs around both sides. And it was almost like it had to get to me anyway, you know, like, because as soon as I was crying hysterically, like I was like, fuck, like you've really fucked up, you know. I think Kim and the kids, and it wasn't even about me at that point. It's about them. What are they going to feel when I'm gone? Like, how are they going to continue on, you know, things like that. And me fucking whole body warmed up big time. I found out later that Kim woke up or was awake at like 11 or 12 o'clock, and she just started crying. Like, she thought about me. I haven't heard from Adam, and she just thought fucking something's wrong, and she started crying, you know. And anyway, and then I fucking just had some harsh words to myself, you know, a little, I don't know, fucking like how men are supposed to be, you know, like fucking man up, like get on with it, like fuck it, get on with it. And I fucking sort of did. I sort of just, I'm not saying that's how to be. I'm not saying that's how we're supposed to do
in that situation?
I think humans are supposed to break down every now and then. I think people are supposed to cry and stuff like that and have those feelings.
Absolutely.
So not, I don't want to talk anyone out of that, but in that situation, it wasn't good for me.
No.
You know, and then it was a little bit like fucking stop feeling sorry for yourself, you know. And so I tried to get that leg and arm to move. They fucking wouldn't move, and I sort of just moved my body over and I laid another way for a little while and tossed and turned, and then I started at some point, I think it was after that, I nodded off back to sleep for a while, and I just fucking woke up and just straight away went into full quiver, and like my fucking body just took over. Every part of my body was just full quiver in there, me fucking lips, my mouth, everything. And have you ever been to that point? Or have you ever felt that?
No.
It's a fucking most horrible, awkward situation. Feels foreign. It feels like what I imagine it feels like through a stage of death. So the first thing to do is you tense up and you're like, fucking stop. Like, fucking don't do that. Like, and you can stop it. And then I stopped it and I was like, fuck. And I'm like, you fucking idiot. That's your body trying to fucking keep itself warm. And that's what happens.
Yeah.
Your body starts quivering flat out to try and keep because if your core temperature drops down too much.
That's why you shiver,
You're in trouble. So I'm like, fucking let it go. So I started relaxing and then, I fucking quivered till fucking 4, 5 in the morning. And that's about an hour or so before first light. It's still fucking raining. It never stopped raining the whole time. Got the fucking EPIRB out. I had to go outside, like out into the open for that. So I'm standing out there in the rain. I can hardly fucking see. And I pull it out and I'm like, fuck, do you want to do this? Fuck. And it took ages, and I'm like, you've got to do this, man. You've got to do this, you know. And it's not just hitting the button. You open the side up, got a good signal first, open the side up, hit the button. And then it says hold in for 10 minutes. And I'm like, you fucking cunt. Like, it was bad enough pressing it. Just happened to press it. No, 10 seconds.
I was going to say, fuck.
Fucking 10 minutes. And I'm fucking holding it and I'm like, you fucking, I can't believe I'm doing this, you know. And anyway, then it comes up that it's SOS in progress, you know. And I'm like, there was like this feeling straight away of like, oh, fuck, okay, I've done it. You know, I'm going to come in and be rescued, you know, because everyone, you know, it's like 20 minutes they're there and they're rescued. Anyway, it's fucking there. And at that point, it was, because I'm a massive one for not littering and leaving anything behind, you know. And at that point, everything was staying. The tent was staying, everything was staying. I was fucking not in a good way. My leg was working again, had my arm working. I was fucking had sore ribs. And that's why I think I just maybe bruised or compressed the bone really bad in one of my falls. Because when I woke up in the morning, it was like immediately, it was like, oh, okay, yeah, no, they're working. And once I got them moving, then they were fine. And but anyway, everything was fucking staying there, mate. I had that wet sleeping bag over the top of me, and I was sitting out on a rock, and I was still quivering flat out. And I had that bright mattress that I said, fucking orange to flag them down. And I was just fucking huddled there for fucking ages, and it just kept raining and raining. And I was like peering back into like where that tree was falling down, looking at the tent. I'm like, fucking leaving all that shit behind. Like, it's fucking not good. And then the SOS thing comes up again and it says, it's not been received. And I'm like, fucking what? And so I'm looking at it. And then my buddy Antonio, he's like, you need to hit the SOS button. And I'm like, I have. And once you hit it once, you can't hit it again.
Right.
It's on the screen. It's locked on the screen. I tried pressing it in again. It does nothing. I tried other stuff. It does nothing. It just says SOS in progress. Then it says it has not been received. And he's like, you need to hit the button. I'm like, I have. And he's like, mate, they won't come and pick you up unless you hit the button. That's their protocol. And I'm like, I fucking have hit the button. And then I didn't know what to do. And I was sort of frustrated, even though it was no one's fault really except for my own. I was sort of fucking pissed off, you know. And I'm like, fuck, this is it. Like, I felt bad. I didn't feel good. I didn't feel healthy at that point. And I sat there for a while, and then I was just like, I messaged him back a couple of times, and then I'm like, no, I'm fucking on my own. Fuck it. And then I'm like, oh, fuck it. And then I took the sleeping bag off. I was just walking around the rain. I'm like, I'm going to fucking build a helicopter pad here, because a commercial helicopter needs to land. They don't have a winch to pick you up. And I'm going to start collecting bits of debris, and I'm going to stick it under these rocks here and try and let it dry. And I'm fucking going to get all the rubbish out of my pack. I'll burn me tent if I have to, the whole fucking lot. I know, the biggest fucking fire ever, you know. And I started I had to get busy. That's the thing, you know. And I did. I started fucking getting rocks, and I started building up a helicopter pad. Fucking rocks would come flying off the mountain past me from up the top. Fucking started collecting timber. I got all my rubbish. I stuck it all in there. And then I sent my buddy one more message, and I'm like, when the weather clears, if the commercial helicopter can pick me up, that'd be awesome. Otherwise, we need to do something else. I'm not in a good way. Dead. It went dead. And then I was like, yeah, that's it. I've got fucking nothing then. I've got nothing now, you know. And then I fucked around. I thought, fuck it. I'm going to pack my backpack. I'm going to put that tar in there, and I'm going to collect all my gear. And I went through. Climbed back over there to where that tree was. I packed up all my gear. I fucking stayed busy. I was nearly at the point I was going to light that fire. I was going to light my rubbish on fire, and anything else in my pack that was flammable, and get a decent fire going, you know, because I needed something to lift my spirits. I needed something to fucking get my body temperature warm again, things like that. And then I hear, and I fucking look down the valley, and it was fucking the craziest sight, because that helicopter's big and yellow, eh? And there's just this fucking really aggressive terrain like this, these big mountains that come into one another, and there's like the rest of the river and that down there. And you just see this fucking beautiful big yellow helicopter coming up. And just fucking comes up, and the dude's like, out the side, he's like, and I give him the thumbs up. I'm like, holy fuck, like, fuck. And then they turned around, they flew off. And I was like, oh, fucking hopefully they're coming back. I had a look at the situation, and then I picked up that rubbish. I fucking started packing up all that again, put that mattress away. I was fucking just sitting there. I was just huddled up with my backpack. I wanted to do everything right still, you know. And then, yeah, they fucking flew back in. Because of the terrain, they had to drop everything off pretty much, except for especially when they seen that I was all right and I gave them the thumbs up. They didn't need the stretcher and all that extra weight. They flew back in, and they fucking dropped down off the winch. And he said, you know, like, give me directions, you're on the way up. And he fucking hooked me up. And I just remember that thing plucked me off the ground like it was fucking a fixed item. That's how hardcore those helicopters are, or how good the pilots are. It was like, I did not fucking move. It just fucking grabbed me, and the winch took me straight up, steady as fuck. And then I got in there, and I was like, holy fuck. Well, the other thing was, when I got in there, even that extra height, when I looked around, I was like, I was not going anywhere. And the co-pilot, or whoever the dude is, he said, his exact words, how the fuck did you get there? And I'm like, mate, I come from the top. And he's like, oh my, you know, he's like, and then anyway, they winched my gear in. I had me fucking all my gear and that. They grabbed it all. And then the other guy hopped in, and he said the same thing. He's like, I don't know how you got there, mate. I'm like, mate, I slept there last night up there. And anyway, the whole time I was like, fuck, like, I bet you the river was just there, you know, and if I got to the main river, it would have been. And we fucking just kept flying down through that canyon, dude. You know, it was like, it wasn't going to be fucking good.